Tonight on News 5 Live, another standoff between stevedores and the port of Belize threatens economic losses. Elroy Quinones is shot and killed in front of his kids in Dangriga. The High Court grants bail to Tasia Vaughn following a manslaughter charge. And tonight on Belize on Reel, the Belize Dance Company preps for a comeback. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Digi Wallet, in partnership with UNICEF, is making financial inclusion a reality. As a selected financial technology provider, Digi Wallet leveraged its robust digital platform to disperse a total of $720,000 to 900 vulnerable migrant children and their families. This program is a part of the Cash Plus pilot project, implemented in collaboration with the government of Belize and the Belize Red Cross. Digi Wallet and UNICEF's partnership supports the government of Belize's timely response to social and economic shocks using advanced and secure technology.
¿Qué más va a llevar ahorita?
Me quedan 97.80 todavía.
Guárdelo.
Digi Wallet's platform ensured that recipients received their funds instantly at no cost. Beneficiaries were then able to purchase essential goods, pay for their utilities, and do much more with Digi Wallet. This innovative approach of digital payment is an important milestone in advancing the social protection system in the country, allowing them to reach the most vulnerable children. We remain committed to working in partnership with key stakeholders to continue financially empowering the Belizean society by offering an accessible, safe, and useful digital platform. Digi Wallet and UNICEF, bringing equal access to financial services with the support of the government of the United States of America through the State Department, Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration.
Moms, you rule the galaxy, and we know that keeping your family close is the most important thing to you. With Samsung, our phones keep you connected with your loved ones no matter where you are at any time. Capture every moment with our state-of-the-art camera technology on our S-series phones such as the Galaxy S20 FE, S23, S23 Plus, and S23 Ultra. Make Mother's Day a day she'll never forget. Make memories that last a lifetime when you gift her the Galaxy A-series phone starting as low as $309. Celebrate Mother's Day with Samsung, because moms rule the galaxy.
Join us on May 20th at DigiPark in Belize City for EU in the Park. A fun-filled festival day with activities for the entire family, including live performance by Pen Caetano and band, face painting, art, yoga, and dance classes for adults and children. 2 European films on screen, giveaways, and so much more. The event is free and open to the public. While enjoying the fun, learn about European countries and discover information on scholarship opportunities to study in Europe. The fun starts at 2 p.m. with films from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. See you there!
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, May 4th. I am Sabrina Daly. A cargo ship with as many as 200 containers waiting to be offloaded for delivery to customers across the country remains docked at the Port of Belize Limited. The vessel sits idly in the middle of another standoff between the waterfront workers and their employer, and everyone is losing money. This morning, the Christian Workers Union, the representative body for the stevedores, met with reporters at its headquarters in Belize City. They responded to a statement issued by the Port of Belize Limited on Wednesday with respect of a delay in the provision of service. According to CWU President Evan Mose-Hyde, dock workers are being turned back from their respective shifts, discharging the anchored vessel. This, he alleges, is the result of an existing contract being broken by the Port of Belize Limited in the face of the Essential Services Act. Hyde also points out that the Ministry of Labor has remained dormant on the issue, making matters worse. We start our newscast tonight with the tension that's once again brewing at the waterfront.
What has happened is that PBL has locked out our gangs from doing its work according to the contract that we have with them. Our gang, Gang 5, has been stationed outside of port, ready to do work from yesterday morning. They were there last night, they were there and are probably still there this morning, ready to do the work of unloading the ship that is in port. The PBL has refused them, and in our view, it's an illegal refusal. It's illegal, it compromises, it breaches our contract, and it breaches the Essential Services Act. And in our view, why we have now decided to come public, is that we are at a loss as to how come we have not had any intervention of any sort from the Ministry of Labor and the government of Belize. We have been categorized as an essential service. In times past, when it is stevedores who are responsible for the shutdown of business at the waterfront, everybody, all hands on deck. We are being bombarded with calls. What are we doing? We are interrupting the flow of business, services, commodities, etc., etc., etc. The people at the Ministry of Labor and the government of Belize are aware of every detail of this contention from the time it started. They know everything. They've seen the exchange of the correspondences. They have yet to weigh in. And so what has happened is that not only our members are being deprived of their rightful legal opportunity to earn a living, and the nation of Belize being deprived of the flow of goods, but what is happening is that we are being deprived of any sort of intervention coming from the state that is usually present whenever we have any type of disturbance down on the. It's as if though the referee has left the game.
Ted Peralta is the new Chief Executive Officer at the Port of Belize Limited. He says that the Christian Workers Union decided on its own to go back on an agreement that was already slated for discussion. The CEO says that the attempt to revert to the unproductive arrangement of one gang, one ship places the Port of Belize in a difficult situation, with only one container gang working a vessel for 15 hours. The vessel then leaves the quay and returns 9 hours later for operations to resume. Peralta also touched on the decision of the Essential Services Tribunal to have both parties discuss a settlement in a previous matter.
It's quite disappointing, right, that the CW took the unilateral decision to renege on what we already had on the table, right, without even having a discussion with us, right? We then find ourselves that this obviously impacts not just the stevedores, but impacts Belize on a whole, right? It's basically holding all of Belize ransom, right? We have containers, we have perishable goods on these containers, right, that obviously need to be discharged, and we find ourselves in a peculiar situation that we can't discharge it, right? We are still open for dialogue. We're always still open for negotiation, to have the CW sit on our table and we reach a consensus on how to move forward. We don't take for granted our employees, right? It goes without saying that we didn't or did not believe that we, or at this present moment, have changed or have any manner of changing anything that we have agreed upon, right? It is hard to, at this point in time, to look at what the CW has presented to their members in regards to the point moving forward with the tribunal, right? And again, let me just further note that during last week or the past 4 weeks, the union did meet with the labor minister, and the discussions have still been pending for us to then meet the labor minister, which is supposed to happen on Monday, right? Obviously, we await for this to happen so that we could then forward across what was given to us by the tribunal. Now, again, we find ourselves in an impasse because we see this as already being something on the table that is up for discussion, right? And having it on discussion, then we don't really see why we are at this particular situation.
With every passing hour that the stevedores remain inactive, revenue is being lost. According to the CWU president, dock workers are not responsible for the stoppage. Additionally, Hyde says that the refusal of entry to the waterfront workers is unlawful, since it flouts the Essential Services Act.
You go to the port right now, Gang 5 is there, lined up to work. And we want the agent, we want the public to know stevedores have nothing to do with the shutdown of the work on the waterfront. So we are appealing that every hour that goes by, our members are being denied the ability to earn a living. Remember now, stevedores don't work your regular 9 to 5. So they schedule their lives according to when their shift is going to come up for them to work. This is an illegal lockout of our members. It's a breach of our contract, and it's a breach of the Essential Services Act. Now, if you're asking me about the decision to take back an olive branch that was offered 10 months ago, that was responded to with absolute scorn, disrespect, and indifference. And they were aware, the Ministry of Labor was aware, that our members have not taken that indifference and taken that, you'd have said, lack of attention, just like that. We told them our members are looking at this and feel absolutely insulted. They have acted with good faith, though we maintained we will not sign, because previous history teaches us that until everything is good, you don't put any signature on any paper with these people.
Prior to Peralta taking over as CEO, agreements involving the Port of Belize Limited and the stevedores had been entered into, and discussions were had on the financial implications for stevedores. Peralta says that notwithstanding the mutual agreements, the CWU proceeded to act on its own irresponsibly, and the potential consequences can negatively impact the economy.
In light of that, there was a bilateral agreement between ourselves and the CW where several emails were exchanged, right, as well as several discussions on the impact financially to these stevedores, right, or employees, right, was conducted. After the final discussion was had, right, the stevedores then went ahead and worked the ships as 2 gangs per rotation, 2 gangs per ship, sorry. And furthermore, we paid them, right? They were remunerated for everything with no issues to the remuneration that was happening, right? And we had undergone this process for the past 10 months, right? Now, we are in the opinion that this was an agreement that we had, again, bilaterally amongst ourselves. And again, the CWU took it unilaterally decision to just renege on everything we've had or everything we've discussed and everything we've exchanged.
What happens until then? Perishables are in the containers on the ship waiting to be offloaded. Customers on land are waiting to receive the goods that they have ordered and what have you. Until CWU comes to the table, what becomes of those items on board that vessel?
Well, we are in discussions with the shipping line at this moment. We haven't had any confirmation as yet, but we are looking at different options as well as, but the main option at the table is having the CW come back to us and we get the gang out there to discharge the container. That's...
So, the port is losing money, the stevedores are losing money, and customers are disgruntled. Everybody's at a loss here. What's the way forward?
Well, the economic loss is across the board, right? It's not just us. Yes, we are an organization that runs on revenue, but at the end of the day, the economic loss that we are looking at, and we tend to be more inclined to discuss, is those trickling down to the consumers.
Going back to the initial agreement between the stevedores and their employer, CWU President Mose Hyde says that because that arrangement was not workable, they approached the shipping agent directly and struck a deal that was mutually beneficial. He says that the Port of Belize took that good faith agreement and made it mandatory.
One gang, one ship. They say we have to stop at 15 hours, take a 9-hour rest, and come back and finish it as they decided they were willing to agree.
Then you all, because that proved thoroughly impractical, you all agreed on undertaking 2 gang, 1 ship, speed things along.
I'm glad you asked the question, because that brings us to an important thing. We had completely abandoned any negotiations on this matter with PBL because, as we were advised, when you are being litigated, you don't negotiate. But we decided, in the interest of our members, in the interest of the client, we had discussions directly with the client. PBL was not even present.
You mean the shipping agent?
Yes. What PBL got was a hand-wrapped ribbon placed on their desk, goodwill. We and the shipping agents have worked out a verbal thing, make a try one thing. So what they did, PBL, was to take that gift and decided that, you know what, this now becomes an obligation. This becomes mandatory. And I will make it mandatory because I have the money to make it mandatory. And I have the ability to make sure that who has to stay on the sidelines, and you can do nothing about it. And unless you take it back, we will not allow you to work.
The Port of Belize maintains that the CWU is attempting to hold the country ransom by its actions. But is the company also playing hardball by effectively splitting the members of the union on this controversial issue? That's what our colleague put to CEO Peralta during a sit-down with reporters this afternoon.
The CWU right now is really split because some man, they need fair their money and they want to come 2 by 2 gangs, in gangs of the 2 gangs, and say, let me clear off the ship and make good money. Are you all holding the line in the hope that you break the union's resolve and you force them to do 2 gangs, 1 ship?
We're not looking to break any union in any way or form or manner, right? We want our employees to be satisfied employees, right? And if that means that we have to sit down and reach a form of collaboration between the 2 parties, then we are open for it, right? At the end of the day, we do understand the situation the stevedores find themselves in, and we do understand that everybody needs to put food on the table, right? This is the important matter at the end of the day, right? And we urge all our employees and all the members that we know have been split down the middle of this decision to please put forward, right, a resolution to their president and come back to us on the table. And let's get this container discharged. Let's get these items out to the consumers of Belize at the minimum cost to everybody.
Coming up, shootout at Corazal Ferry. Man drowns after. Find out the details when we come back.
Well, Michael, this is your new home and your new family. I am sure you will like it here.
Welcome, Michael.
Welcome, Michael. We're good to have you. We've been waiting.
And this will be your room.
Thank you, God, for my new family and my new home. This is all I ever wanted.
All children, even teenagers, deserve and desire a loving family and a safe home. Contact the Department of Human Services to find out how you can become a foster or adoptive parent and be that heart of gold.
Lord, we can't take it no more.
Now with that, that's the choking sound of Dangraga Dream Ballers, who makes a lot of noise in the regular season of the BEBL, but always chokes in the playoffs when it matters most. Buried alive in 2018 at the hands of the Category 5 Belize Hurricanes. In 2023, they somehow rose from the grave. So now, we've got a score to settle. Round 2 on our home turf.
Let's go.
This is what the Belize district has been waiting for. Payback time. And it's all going down this Friday, May 5 at the Belize Civic Center, 9 p.m. sharp. The rematch between your city favorites, Belize Hurricanes, and the Dangraga Dream Ballers, fighting for home court advantage throughout the playoffs in a battle dubbed as Rice and Beans versus Hudut.
Rice and beans, nice.
Nobody should want to miss this showdown where the top 2 teams in the BEBL, your Hurricanes, led by Glency Coupe Lopez, Victor Vito Evans, Kirk Shabba Smith, Jamel Harrison, Chris Fraser, go up against the Dream Ballers from Dangraga, who will answer with the big giant American import Dominique Woodson, Edgar Boogie Mitchell, and Jamel Campbell. This will be a war to the end.
If a war, then a war to the end. Me not run, let me pray.
Remember, this Friday night at 9, Belize Hurricanes versus Dangraga Dream Ballers. The halftime show will feature the hottest band in the land, Bossa B.
One caller.
Of the halftime entertainment will include the Belize $4,000 half-court shot, as well as smart and cellular, cell phone and tablets giveaways throughout the game. There will also be a full hour after-game party with Bossa B Band to end the Hurricanes' regular season homestand.
Hurricanes are one big family.
The after party will be at Thirsty Thursdays. Sponsors.
Yo, respect the city. Love the game. Family. Belize Hurricanes. Hurricanes are one big family.
You have been a safe driver all your life when an unavoidable accident happens. But this does not mean that your insurance premium must increase. With RF&G's Accident Forgiveness Program, safe drivers will not lose their no-claims discounts because of those minor, unavoidable accidents. For more information on RF&G's Accident Forgiveness Program, contact us at 223-5734. When it comes to motor insurance, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a road group company.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the Split the Bill button where he selects the Evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
2 persons lost their lives in separate shooting incidents over the past 24 hours. The first is a murder that was recorded on Wednesday night in Dangraga. A 35-year-old father of 4 was targeted by a gunman who opened fire on him in the presence of 2 of his children. The deadly shooting happened within several yards of the family home. But who could have been so callous to carry out the daring crime? While a real motive has not been revealed as yet, the incident has left the miners traumatized and a family mourning the loss of their loved one. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports from Dangriga.
This shrine at the corner of Bannock and Zericota streets in Dangriga marks the spot where 35-year-old Elroy Quinones hemorrhaged before he was rushed to the Southern Regional Hospital. Within minutes, he died while receiving treatment at the medical facility. Quinones was shot multiple times to the body, including to the head, by a gunman that approached and opened fire at him. News 5 spoke with a close cousin who says that he had just left Quinones when he received a text about the tragedy.
I was at a friend's house. She just called me and told me that her car wasn't starting. So I went over to our house to get it started. And while I was over at her house, my son, my 17-year-old son, gave me a WhatsApp message and said, "Dad, please don't tell me that the oldest cousin that I just got to meet through you, well, my cousin that I got to meet through you, that he just got hit up." His friend told him that he just passed the scene and saw the same guy that he was talking about on the ground. So I jumped in my friend's car and I sped off to the scene. When I reached the scene, before I even reached the scene, I saw people on the block, so I already know that something wasn't right. He wasn't on the scene anymore, it was just blood on the ground, so I started praying and hoping that he would walk through it.
Quinones was sitting on a chair near this concrete fence, one property across from his family home. He was with 2 of his sons when the gunman, who was barefaced, came up to them. The father of 4 was mortally wounded in front of his children.
They did not even care. Like it was like a couple steps away from my auntie home, you know. So try to play like this. You trying to show that you don't care about nothing. Like you could do something like that in front of his 2 kids. His kids was right there, playing with the dogs. We have 3 dogs. You understand? 3 puppies, and you could do something like that in front of his family and not care. Like how we supposed to feel about you?
Rudolph Green says that Quinones has been targeted in the past, but managed to pull through. This instance, however, he did not survive. So who wanted him dead and why? While police have not shared a motive as yet, Green shares what he believes may have led to the crime.
This Willow, yo, this already been hit up like so many times before he walk away from it, you know. But it's just like people that hate upon he. This like people feel like we making millions of dollars in at Ali board house over there. We don't have nothing like that, yo. We just work and hustle basically to survive. We surviving day to day, and the only thing that we make off whatever we make off whatever we doing, it goes towards our kids. And so many parents, so many mothers, children, you know, this block that could walk by and say piece of $2, piece of $1, piece of $5, piece of $6 to go to school. He buy books for kids. He feed kids.
Why would they want to do something like this?
Hate, bro. You just said jealousy, but jealousy comes with hate. It comes with overthinking the way you're living and the whole 9 yards, yo. Like they just probably feel like, ooh, you move like you too good, like you can't move around us, or you can't drink with us, you can't hang with us. We just don't mess with people. We antisocial, brother.
Green says that the business plan that they were undertaking is now on pause. Today, police returned to the scene to canvass the area. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
A man reportedly drowned at around 1:30 this afternoon following a shootout between 2 groups near the Pueblo Nuevo ferry. The man who drowned was reportedly along with one of the groups. He decided to swim across the river but went under. We have not yet been able to confirm his identity. However, reports are that police have intercepted a GMC vehicle and have detained its driver. The other vehicle, a blue Ford Escape, was reportedly fleeing an area with the GMC in hot pursuit. We were informed that the occupants of both vehicles were engaged in an open exchange of gunfire with high-powered weapons. Unconfirmed reports are that 2 persons were wounded in the crossfire and were transported to the Northern Medical Plaza in Orange Walk for urgent medical attention. News 5 will have full details of this incident on Friday. 24-year-old Tasia Vaughn was granted bail in the sum of $10,000 by Justice Nigel Pilgrim for the charge of manslaughter by negligence in the shooting death of her friend and co-worker, 30-year-old Charles Canton. Canton was accidentally shot by Vaughn last Friday. Vaughn, the daughter of Belize City Councilor Albert Vaughn, was arraigned on Tuesday before Chief Magistrate Jayani Wegoda-Poya. She was granted bail earlier today under strict conditions. She is required to report to the police station twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays effective May 9th. Vaughn must not interfere with any of the prosecution witnesses and must not be arrested and charged with any offense while on bail. Breaching any of her bail conditions will lead to its revocation. The prosecution had initially objected to Vaughn's bail, arguing that the offense is still under investigation and that she could potentially hinder the police investigation as she works with the Crown's primary witness. However, Judge Pilgrim granted Vaughn bail, citing the specific nature of the offense and the arguments presented by her attorney, Leroy Banner. Bail was initially denied by Chief Magistrate Wegoda-Poya, despite Banner's submission that the offense is not listed as one for which the court cannot grant bail. Around 11 a.m. today, a fire broke inside a wooden structure in the Lake Independence area of Belize City. Firefighters responded to the distress call and a short while after found a 12 by 15 house engulfed in flames. The fire was soon after extinguished and an investigation revealed that it may have been an electrical fire. Fortunately, no one was injured in this blaze. News 5 spoke this afternoon with Station Supervisor Kenneth Mortis of the National Fire Service.
Actually, the call came in of a bushfire in progress off Riverside Street behind Lakers spot. Well, we responded at one truck as per normal based on the call. However, when we got there, we realized that this wasn't a normal call. This was a house on fire. We then had to send for a secondary truck and a balance of additional crew members. And we commenced firefighting and trying to extinguish this blaze, thus minimizing this fire to the one structure it has already consumed. Once the fire was extinguished, then we launched an investigation as per normal, determined the cause and origin, whereby we discovered that the building was an abandoned building. However, it was trafficked by unresidential people in the area. What we also learned, that this particular building was receiving an illegal electrical drop from the closest structure next to it. I brought in my electrician and they confirmed that the fire to have started as a result of an electrical flaw based on the fact that it had an illegal extension onto the house.
So, people were living in there?
It wasn't registered to me and you per se. It was a building that was established because it was abandoned. Then we just had street figures trafficking the area. At least that's the information that we gathered from the scene. To date, or to this current standings, we cannot ascertain exactly who the owner was, as it seems that whoever constructed this structure never did pick up residence in it.
The value of the structure is unknown. After the break, BISCAP says musical artists who perform live are entitled to payment. We'll tell you about that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Brian and Marta continued walking in town and met Martin, who had a tourism business that was one of the largest in town. His job was to take tourists to places they could enjoy. They thought that he was probably not affected by climate change.
Mr. Martin, how are you doing? Excuse me, do you mind if we could ask you a few questions? It's for a school assignment.
Martin did not take his eyes off the computer where he was working and responded to the greeting without much hesitation.
It depends on what it is. It's just that I'm busy. If it's not something that will interrupt me for a long time, it's okay.
We just want to know if changes in the weather have affected your work.
Let me see. 3 tour groups have already canceled their service. They're not coming. How do you think I'm doing?
Why have the groups cancelled?
Well, for many reasons. First, every so often it rains, and the tourists don't want to come to lock themselves up in hotel rooms. They want to visit trails and beaches, but if it's raining, they cannot go out. When they go out, the beaches are littered with garbage. Also, in many areas, the beach has been eroded, and there is nowhere to get the tourists off. And if you take them to the river, since there are no more trees along the river, when it rains, a lot of mud comes, and the water looks dirty, and the tourists don't like that. Nobody likes that, you know? Also, water supply in the town is bad. The well dries up every so often and hotels run out of water. Who's gonna want to come like this?
And do you think that's because of climate change?
I don't know why it is. You asked me how I was doing, and I already told you. I believe that this will be solved if the town council will build breakwaters or seawalls to prevent the sea from eating the beach, and also more wells so that there is enough water. And why not? If it would assist in improving tourism services, we can't deal with this situation anymore.
Brian and Marta said goodbye to Martin, who was already back to his computer. They were surprised to discover that climate change was also affecting the top tourism businessman in town. As they walked in search of someone else to interview, they reflected and discussed what Martin had told them.
To tell you the truth, I don't think that the solutions that this man mentioned are the best. He is only thinking of his benefit.
My father told me that once there were many mangroves around the beaches, but they have been cut down to build houses and hotels, and that is why there is no longer any beach. I do think Mr. Martin is thinking of his own interests. You saw he didn't pay that much attention to us, but his business is suffering. Imagine how many clients he had in those 3 groups that canceled their visit. Have you realized that everyone we've talked to has told us the same thing? Even my dad this morning. I guess that all trouble comes from climate change, because it either rains too much or there is too much heat. Seawater also warms up, the sea level rises, and the beach is swallowed up. Tourists no longer come because there is no beach. The rain sweeps away the soil needed to plant and harvest, and then people have to cut down trees in the forest to plant somewhere else.
And that means that there is a lack of water and that the wells dry up and no water reaches the town. But we can't do anything to control the weather, or do you think we can? And if so, how could we change this?
Brian and Marta kept reflecting on this, and their talk only made them more uneasy. They were both worried that the situation could get worse with time. And although they did not talk to each other, they were also concerned that later on, they would no longer be able to live there. And they did not stop thinking about what could happen with all the people, with their families, and of course, with their friends from town.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
it no more.
Now with that, that's the choking sound of Dangraga Dream Ballers, who makes a lot of noise in the regular season of the BEBL, but always talks in the playoffs when it matters most. Buried alive in 2018 at the hands of the Category 5 Belize Hurricanes. In 2023, they somehow rose from the grave. So now, we've got a score to settle. Round 2 on our home turf.
Let's go. Around.
This is what the Belize district has been waiting for. Payback time. And it's all going down this Friday, May 5 at the Belize Civic Center, 9 p.m. sharp. The rematch between your city favorites, Belize Hurricanes, and the Dangraga Dream Ballers, fighting for home court advantage throughout the playoffs in a battle dubbed as Rice and Beans versus Hudut.
Rice and Beans, nice.
Nobody should want to miss this showdown where the top 2 teams in the BEBL, your Hurricanes, led by Glency Coupe Lopez, Victor Vito Evans, Kirk Shabba Smith, Jamel Harris, and Chris Fraser, go up against the Dream Ballers from Dangraga, who will answer with the big giant American import Dominique Woodson, Edgar Boogie Mitchell, and Jamel Campbell. This will be a war to the end.
If a war, then a war to the end. Me not run, let me pray.
Remember, this Friday night at 9, Belize Hurricanes versus Dangraga Dream Ballers. The halftime show will feature the hottest band in the land, Bossa B. Of the halftime entertainment will include the Benny's $4,000 half-court shot, as well as smart and cellular, cell phone and tablets giveaways throughout the game. There will also be a full-hour after-game party with Bossa B Band to end the Hurricanes' regular season homestand.
Hurricanes are one big family.
The after party will be at Thirsty Thursdays. Sponsors.
Yo, respect the city. Love the game. Family. Belize Hurricanes. Hurricanes are one big family.
Founded by Rosita Baltazar and a troupe of dancers in 1990, the Belize Dance Company is a cultural preservation organization that showcases Belize's many ethnicities in classical, contemporary, and traditional folk dancing. The initial group of 16 dancers eventually grew to as many as 80, traveling across the world to far-flung places, including Malaysia and Spain. The Belize Dance Company has been dormant for a few years, but is making a comeback with a 33rd anniversary dance concert dubbed Keep the Torch Burning. On tonight's episode of Belize on Reel, we go behind the scenes as well as look back at the work of the Belize Dance Company.
As the newly appointed artistic director, what's your vision for the dance company?
I just want to keep dance alive, and I want to see the young people get interested in it. I don't want them to feel like, oh, they have to adopt different styles or adopt what the Americans do or what the Jamaicans do. There's a culture here in Belize, and that is what I want to keep alive. Keep alive the Creole culture and the movements, keep all of that going and have them enjoy it. Personally, I like the drums, but I also like when we do folk and we have to come into different roles, a little bit of drama. I like that when we get to play with the girls and stuff like that and pretend to like we're flirting, and you know, I like that too.
It's been something that I've been aspiring from I was very young. I started doing dancing with Miss Rosita Baltazar at Grace Primary, and I knew that she was always a part of this company, so my goal was to always be a part of this dance company.
Now that you are here, let's talk about what it is that you want people to see when they see you dancing on that stage.
They're gonna see a very lively person on that dance floor. I make sure that when we make our moves that it's done to the best of our ability. Yes, techniques are in place and everything. So yeah, they should be looking out for the best when they see us.
National Dance Company is a diverse group, you know. They focus more on the cultural side. So I believe that here you get more of that technical, you know, you get ballet, you get more, modern. So I believe that this is a different aspect as it pertains to dancing, and you know, coming from that hip-hop dancehall that I've also done, this gives me more of an insight of what I want to further as well.
Yes, I'm really excited to not only have Modern Dance Movement participate in BNDC's show, upcoming show, but also being a part of it has been a great experience. Before coming back from studying dance, I was with the Belize National Dance Company for 2 years, and I've learned so much, especially from Miss Althea Seeley. And so it's been an honor to be invited back to not only perform with my dancers at Modern Dance Movement, but also to be performing with the BNDC main company. So it's been a great experience so far.
I started off by saying that this is a humbling experience, not only to be a part of this momentous occasion, but to do so in representation of the Creole culture. Because most of the time when people hear about drumming or know that you're a drummer, they automatically assume that you play Garifuna music or you play the segunda or the primero. So now that people are knowing that there are Creole drummers in the country also, there are Maroon Creoles in the country, is something that I'm definitely going to look forward some more to every year. And bringing the dancing and the drumming together is culture.
Yeah, we survived, and I'm really happy that we survived for this 33 years. I would really like to see the other generation kind of put in much more than what we had put in. And if that ever happens, then we know that dance will live forever on. I really do, that's my dream, that dancers that we have now can let it survive for another 33 years and probably have another generation behind to carry it on. So we really want the torch to keep burning. But we have a spectacular event show to share with the public. We're doing preludes of our past. So people might come and say, I don't see that, but no, the trick about it is how Wilford has it organized, because actually he is the one. If I didn't have him, all this wouldn't have been possible. So Wilford rearranged and set it in a way where it can be very interesting for you all to enjoy. It's going to be dance, music, facial drama in whatever choreography.
Earlier today, the work of artists and their talents received tangible support from the Belize Society of Composers, Artists and Producers, BISCAP. The agency introduced a documentary entitled Song Creation, a musical idea from inception to completion. It details the creative process from a first-person point of view and the importance of respecting and protecting the rights of artists and producers. BISCAP General Manager Melissa Zuniga explained to News 5 that the purpose of the documentary is to educate people that artists are entitled to royalties for the work that goes into creating a song. Zuniga and producer James Sanker expressed hope that with the release of this documentary, people who use artists' music, including radio stations, events, promoters, restaurants, bars, and hotels, will begin to pay the artists when they perform on their shows and at their events, because the work that goes into the preparation of those live performances is more than meets the eyes.
We ensure that creators are paid for their works that are publicly performed. So when music is played at a concert, in a restaurant, in a bar, we ensure that the license fees goes back to the creators. If an artist is to approach every entity that uses their music, it becomes a time-consuming process. And as you can see, we have creators already filling multiple roles. So BISCAP helps to make that process easier by collecting these fees and ensuring that the money goes back to the creators, all those persons who work on different components of the song. So the person that gets on stage and performs, the person that, produces the music in the studio, the person that composes the lyrics or the melody. We ensure that all of those different persons are paid for the works that are being used.
The basic steps in doing this is to find a team in your production of your show. Then find an audience that you're going to cater to. Before you select a particular song or anything, you basically need to know these are the audience that you want to engage, and then you go through a long process of song selection. What song this particular audience is going to like. Then you then select some artists that could actually play those songs, and that's where the technical part comes in. The technical part comes in is that you have to make sure that every person that is playing an instrument, since we're talking about live music, that they're able to play and have the skill set in order to play those songs, right? So then that is another process. Sometimes that goes through with trying people and they don't work out, and we have to make substitutions and stuff like that. So that's another process that takes time. And having the right people with the right chemistry for the right set of songs sometimes is daunting. Once you get the people them together that would do those, that is going to be in the show, then it's a whole creative process that starts.
When we return, a workshop on early warning system for disasters.
This May, things are going to be amazing at Benny's. Find great gifts for moms such as Pyrex Bakeware, Chicago Cutlery Knife Sets, Corningware, Snapware, Corel Dinnerware, and much more at amazing prices. Also check out our impressive line of Sankey appliances and other household items. Take advantage of these amazing deals and discounts all May long, only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
With eCash, bill payment is extremely convenient, and all utility companies accept eCash payments. What's even better? You get to split bills with your roommates, siblings, or whoever you desire. Simply open your eCash app, go to Bill Pay, tap the respective utility company, enter the information, and pay the bill. Then tap the transaction made. Tap Split the bill. Select Evenly. Send the request to who you are splitting the bill with, and get notified when they pay. Talk about making life easy and avoiding confusion. You can split the bill for restaurants, grocery stores, and for any eCash payment you make. To find your next yummy meal, hair treatment, or chill spot, simply open the app and utilize the geolocation service to see nearby businesses that accept eCash. Geolocation and bill payment make life a whole lot easier.
up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
We are less than a month away from the start of the rainy season, and today at the NEMO headquarters in Belmopan, a 2-day workshop commenced on the implementation of a common alert protocol in Belize. Stakeholders from across public sector as well as organizations that work in the preparation, management and response to disasters were engaged in the process, which seeks to enable an early warning system mechanism. As it currently stands, NEMO disseminates timely bulletins, and so does the National Met Services, to keep Belizeans up to date with information and, in some cases, warnings on the weather and other hazards. CAP, a technology-based protocol, is being seen as a complement to this system that is already in place to get critical messages across to the public. News 5 spoke today with Chief Meteorologist Ronald Gordon and NEMO Coordinator Cornell Shelton D4.
It will help us in terms of providing alerts to the public. We have a public advisory bulletin that goes out, but this complements it, because once we agree how we could use it and when, it could provide the updates, it could trigger that first message that the public needs. So it is very complementary to the work that we do. It's technologically driven, it is based on the internet, so it does have some limitation in terms of internet access, electricity. If that is down, then you have issues. So it's a feature that adds value. We have a multi-layer warning system or alert system, and so this is just one of the technological ones that we could use to enhance, the various instruments or tools that we have in place. And surprisingly, we heard this morning that in certain villages in Belize they still use conch shell.
CAP is a multi-hazard, multimedia approach of disseminating alerts on the different hazards. So you can have meteorological, climatological, hydrological, even you think about fires, you think about health hazards. You can use that platform to get information out to people who are vulnerable and who can be affected by that particular hazard.
A group of Mexican business persons from the Quintana Roo area have planned the first Belmex Business Conference for May 18th and 19th in Belize City. Similar to previous joint Mexico-Belize trade summits in the past, this event aims to bring together business people from both countries who can market the products or services they offer in their respective countries. President of Entrepreneurs for Quintana Roo, Sergio Leon Cervantes, explained what type of businesses they have to offer Belize.
We work with different chambers, organizations, and we have the president from Cocineros from Quintana Roo, the chef Marcy Besalel Pacheco. Thank you for staying here. And we work together with the government from Belize, Build Trade, the government from Quintana Roo. The idea is make better relationship, better business in the Mexico and Belize, but the most important, Quintana Roo is the neighbor to Belize. And it's very important for the embassy from Mexico and Belize, and for us, the businessmen in Quintana Roo, make this relationship more stronger, better, and work together. The idea we have offer opportunities for the citizens in Belize, for the businessmen in Belize to investment in Quintana Roo, but make the same. For the companies and citizens from Quintana Roo, make better investments in Belize.
It was 50 years ago in 1973 that the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, was established under the Treaty of Chaguaramas. Belize's membership took effect in May 1974. The Treaty of Chaguaramas was revised in 2001, advancing CARICOM from a common market to a community, with a single market and economy comprising 20 states, 15 member states, and 5 associated states. At a ceremony held at the Leigh Richardson Building in Belmopan, Minister of Foreign Affairs Eamon Courtney spoke of some of the advancements that have been realized over the 50 years.
50 years ago, on the 4th of July, 1973, the pantheon of Caribbean political civilization, Barrow, Burnham, Manley, and Williams, affixed their signatures to the Treaty of Chaguaramas and conceived the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, which was birthed on the 1st of August, 1973. It was not by accident that they signed. In fact, it was by common design and in pursuit of economic deliverance from the suffocating bondage of colonialism. To achieve this ambitious goal, they were, and I quote, convinced of the need to elaborate an effective regime by establishing and utilizing institutions designed to enhance the economic, social, and cultural development of their peoples. End of quote. That is taken from the preamble to the original Treaty of Chaguaramas. That treaty solidified the collective political and social aspirations of like-minded countries and peoples. And this year, across the Caribbean space, we pay homage to our 50th anniversary of regional unity. CARICOM's future is built on 4 pillars: economic integration, human and social development, foreign policy coordination, and security cooperation. These pillars provide a solid foundation to continue to expand and deepen the integration process. Approximately 350 CARICOM skilled nationals make Belize their home, allowing us to harness some of the intellectual capacity of the region. Belize recently expanded the number of skilled workers who can live and work in Belize. Some of these nationals come as employees and others as employers, improving our economy, creating jobs, while enhancing competitiveness in Belize.
Former CEO in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, David Gibson, shared how CARICOM leaders came to Belize's support in order for the country to gain political independence in 1981, effectively keeping Guatemala's claim at bay.
As Belize prepares for independence, CARICOM ministers converged in Belize to show solidarity and support as the government faces fierce opposition to the heads of agreements signed by Belize, UK, and Guatemala. This was a last-ditch, agreed-upon effort to try to establish a basis for future negotiations in the post-independence period. Strongly, these heads of agreement, and they were heads of agreement, they were not actual agreements, strongly opposed by the United Democratic Party, the opposition, with even a suggestion that there might have been some collusion with the British to have the whole matter of independence postponed for 10 years, something which the Guatemalans would have wanted, having seen the cut of the jib and things going in the direction of an independence, a unilateral independence, which matters had not been resolved in the way that Guatemala would have wanted it. So wanting to continue with fruitless negotiations. This heads of agreement setting out points for post-independence discussion on negotiation between the parties was signed by Premier Price and the Guatemalan Foreign Minister and the British Secretary of State. Pandemonium broke out in Belize. However, as it turns out, Belize stood the course, and the government of Belize stood the course and proceeded to independence on September 21st, 1981. CARICOM heads of government review semi-annual reports by Belize and advise and reaffirm support, for Belize's post-independence efforts to resolve the dispute. This support has been constant and framed to reflect the particularities of the 4 phases of such efforts. In other words, in the post-independent period, there have been 4 phases of developments. The CARICOM states, Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, Dominica, and St. Lucia also serve on the Commonwealth Ministerial Committee. So there's a Commonwealth Ministerial Committee on Belize, which was formed in the year 2007, and which meets annually, usually during the UN General Assembly or otherwise as needed, to review the situation of Belize and Guatemala. Other members include Canada, Tanzania, India, Malaysia, Nigeria, and the United Kingdom as observer. Now, just quickly to look at the diplomatic activity and the phases of the post-independence experience with Guatemala. There was a negotiation phase that ensued in 1981, where negotiations, which included the opposition and the British, reached a stage where draft treaties were actually prepared.
May 4th has been recognized annually as International Firefighters Day since 1999. It was established following the death of 5 firefighters in a bushfire in Australia, and the day is being observed to honor service to the community. Today, Dotbox Donuts recognized firemen in Belize City by treating them to a selection of their sweet treats. It's a timely acknowledgement for the department, which has for several weeks been on the ground battling bushfires and structural fires. Station Supervisor Kenneth Mortis tells us more.
It's appalling that it is recognized on our level on a week or a month or weeks that have been filled with fire and firefighting activities. Truth be told, most of my guys had no knowledge that there was a day set for them, and it's a feeling of wow, that we have our day. We've always heard about Police Day, Nurses Week, BDF Week, but when we heard that there's an International Firefighters Day on the 4th of May, which is today, we couldn't do anything but gave ourselves a pat on the shoulder, so to speak, regardless of all the negative comments or the backlashes that we've experienced over the years. Today, we were blessed with appreciation by the Dotbox Donut Shop with a little sweet tooth for all the operational firefighters in Belize City today. My guys were like, wow, what do we do to deserve this? And Miss Giselle Conarkey, the co-manager of this Dotbox, she took the initiative. She spoke with her team, and she decided, you know what, let us recognize the firemen for this day.
There are 30 operational firefighters in Belize City, including full-time firemen, volunteers, and mechanics. Countrywide, there are 165 firemen, exclusive of volunteers. Up next, a second big scratch and win winner in as many as days.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, The George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Investment Services Explained. In September 1999, SSB's Mortgage and Investment Unit was created. The unit later became the Investment Department in 2005 and officially Investment Services in October 2007. So, what is the Investment Services role? How does Investment Services help to support Social Security and you? And why is Investment Services important to Belize? Investment Services' function is to make prudent investments in the form of commercial loans, shares, and real estate development. The interest income generated from these investments ensures the fund is sustainable to pay current and future Social Security benefits to its insured persons. The investment income is used to support the working population and pay pensions such as retirement and invalidity. Additionally, investment loans support economic development through commercial loans to startup and existing businesses while aiding in increased production of goods and services. We can expect Investment Services to continuously impact the lives of every insured person through Social Security pensions. Investment Services will continue to support the Belizean economy through secure investments in various industries. And that is why Investment Services exists. Social Security Board, an investment for you, your family, your future.
It's good to keep the environment clean. BSWAMA, step up the pace. They're going places to manage your waste. So make we stand and make well sure. No garbage left on the seashore. The whole of Belize we stay clean, cause we know say worth much more. We have pretty environment. So when you see the garbage on the ground, go off me and just bag it on.
Cleanliness has always been second nature to us, so let's work together to keep our surroundings beautiful and healthy.
No garbage in it.
On Wednesday, we reported that with the Bolito frenzy temporarily suspended, the scratch and win game is an alternative that some people may decide to try. Last night, Scratch and Win produced a resident from Pomona Village who displayed a ticket with claims to $20,000. Tonight, there's another huge winner who hails from Belize City. He told us that the $50,000 he won could not have come at a more opportune time because he is currently unemployed.
I forgot that I buy this ticket, I got scratch this ticket, I say, Bob, when I look on the ticket, I say 27, I said, no, 27 upon this thing. Father, please help me, because when I lead 2 lands down, show me, girl, like I got 20 like she too. Bam. And I look at the 18, and I look back at this, I scratch all the thing we call money, and I look, I say 18, I say, Bob. When I look, I say, I want, I don't say that. I say, what? That 1,000. Understand? Bam, when I look, so again, I left that, I said, make I see where they go up at top there again. I scratch, I say 26, no 26. One man say, just go down back, no go down back. I say, 50 times. I said, no man. This not right. And I see one of my home girl come on the street, I say, haul up, shut up, Baba, see this. And she say, yeah, 50 times. I said, girl, my mind tell me 50 times too. We reading everything 50 times, you understand, but we don't believe you, man.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.